Can't hear you, Dan. Can't hear anything.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the Now Show. When are we doing it? Doing it right now at now o'clock on a Wednesday, May 7th. Woo, 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 yeah. It is the Now Show, and we're going to do it right now. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's now o'clock somewhere. Woo, yeah. All right. Hey, welcome everybody to the Now Show. Starting a little bit later than normal, but guess what? Guess what time we started? What time did we start, Dan? What time did we start, Mary? Now. So it's exactly the right time. Because right now is the right time. It's not just a right time. This is the right time for the Now Show. So I am Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I'm a creative communicator. I am a playful polymath, musician, speaker, writer, graphic designer, photographer, blah, 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 on and on and on. So I do lots of stuff. I do pretty well. So that's why I qualify for polymath. That doesn't to brag. That's just to say I am a Joe of all trades and a master of some. Joe Voltre's master of some. And I'm so excited, so pleased, so blessed to be part of the Chat Mosa crew here, which you see the three of us on our little karaoke circles, which we'll talk about later. So let you know what that is for who are new to karaoke. But welcome to Chat Mosa. Welcome to the Now Show. I'm going to pass it off to the host and actually the brains behind all of this, and that is Dan Yule, who actually just accompanied himself on piano. You can't see his keyboard, but he was not only singing the beautiful voice, but he's also playing the keyboard at the same time. Welcome, Dan, to the Now Show. Yeah, you sing like a girl. Right? Woo! Sweet. Oh, no, wait. Tell people what a flash mob is. You just mentioned flash mob. Not everybody knows what a flash mob is.
I
Right on. Yes. Easy for you to say. All right. Rewind.
Awesome. Yes, I am. Yes. Wait. Here, I'll grab
Good
it.
catch. All right. Good catch.
Hey guys, welcome to the Now Show. I am Awesome Mary, and I feel super, I don't know, honored that we're interviewing me today. I have a lot to say in a matter of 20 minutes.
That's right. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing about the flash mob. My daughter did a flash mob when she was 12 years old. She and the 11 kids that lived in our block. She put it together. It was to the music of a Thriller, and when she showed it to me with all the kids and everything, I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! We gotta turn this into a flash mob." And it was just a little dance that she did at 12, and so I called the local mall, which is the outlet mall here, and I said, "Hey, I have a 12-year-old who did this, choreographed this dance. Can we do it as a flash mob over there?" And they were like, "Okay, yeah, not a problem." And that would be great. And they gave us a date and time when we showed up. We had we had 3 news channels there. They had set this whole thing up. with those speakers and huge speakers and everything, and they had like, I don't know, just everything all set up, and yeah, and so at 12 years old, my daughter did her own flash mob at the outlet mall out here, and it was good news. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. Before we get there,
Yeah.
I just want, no,
Bye, Joy.
we'll get there. I just wanted to interject that one day the three of us are going to organize a virtual flash mob. So it's not just one location on Earth; it'll be one location all over the Earth. I just had this vision. We're going to do virtual flash mob at some point. Okay, now we're going to move on to Mary, and I know the time's limited. I'm sorry, and Mary's got a great story to share. So,
All right.
yeah. Well, Mary, let me refine the question a little bit. That Dan was, because tell us about you. It's a very broad question. It could go any direction. Any direction is fine. It's very organic. But let me reframe the question a little bit in this way. Pick a milestone moment, something in your life that before this happened, you were going one direction, and then something happened. It might be amazing, it might be traumatic, but show us, give us a little glimpse into your life
Oh my
where there was
gosh.
a milestone moment where things just drastically took a turn in a different direction.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and before that, I was also a follower of Jesus Christ. But I grew up in a religious cult, and I from the time that I was 8 till I was 25. So before that, that's all I knew. And once I left, and a lot of things happened in between that and the time that I actually felt that I got saved. But I think that was a turning point in my life. Following the what I now call the real God and the real Jesus, and yeah, I mean, it was definitely life changing for me. I went to this church. I was asking God one morning, because things weren't going great in my life at that time, and I was walking down my apartment complex. I said, God, I need you to find me because I can't find you. And now that he lost me or anything, I was always in his, the apple of his eye. But shortly after, I was hanging out at the pool by myself, and this girl came up to me and she started talking to me, and she's like, hey, what's going on? And I'd just broken up with my boyfriend, which later on I ended up marrying him. But I kind of spilled my guts to her, and I never do that because I'm a very private person. And then she said, yo, you should come to my church. And I said, where is it and what time? And she said, it's today at 6 o'clock. And I remember vividly that it was 3 o'clock. I looked at my watch and I said, okay, I'll see you there. And I got up and left the pool. I didn't care if I never saw her again. I don't remember who the person was. I went into this huge church. It's huge, Calvary Chapel in Fort Lauderdale. And I walked in, getting teary. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm home. I felt like at home.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then that night, the pastor, who was an amazing pastor, was giving his testimony. And then at the end, he did an altar call. An altar call is when they call you up and they say they don't call you up. They ask, if you want to accept Jesus into your life, come to the front. And I just felt like, compelled to go to the front. And I just felt like chains falling off me from years and years and years of legalism from this cult that I was in. And yeah, I think that was a total turning point. I mean, there's been a lot of other things in my life, but I think that was, if I want to pick one in my life, I think that was the turning point for me.
So I want to highlight something that you said, which really jumped out at me, and then ask you to go a little deeper on this. And one is you said this prayer, and the prayer basically was, God, I need you to find me because I can't find you. Which I get choked up just saying that, right? Because that's the story of humanity, in my opinion. It's my story. Yeah, seriously, it's my story too, but this is a story of humanity where if you look at the Bible from just the way out, like you zoom way out, not all the little individual verses and the little these and thous and do's and don'ts, but just look at the big picture. The meta story is what some people call it. The big story behind it is that we couldn't find God, like we humans,
Mhm.
and so he found us, right?
Mhm.
That's what the whole Jesus story is about. It's not us working our way up to God, which most religions are. What do I do to please whatever God I'm trying to please? And the Jesus story is just the opposite, where Jesus says, "You don't have to find me; I'll find you." Like that's the lost sheep, the lost coin. All these stories about a God who loves us so much that when we're lost, He goes to get us, not waits for us to come back.
Yeah.
Even the parable of the good son, not the what the son. What's the son? Prodigal son. Yeah,
Prodigal son.
the prodigal son realizes he's lost, and when he starts to head home to apologize and tell his dad, "I don't deserve to be your son anymore," the dad gets up and runs to the son, which that's in that culture. That's totally their way to. They would never do that because of the respect thing. Anyway, I'll let say your story totally hits me in the heart because it's my story. It's our story. It's the story of humanity. But what I want to ask you, Mary, is if you could describe a little bit you said this is a milestone moment. What could you describe a little bit? What was it like before this experience, and what was it like after? What was the change, in your words?
The change was okay. So I mentioned that I grew up in a cult, and even though I learned a lot of Bible, I felt like it was just all. It wasn't from the heart. It was just all, um, in my head. And this is how you do, and this is what you do. This is what you need to do. Blah blah blah. All these rules and legalism. Um, don't do this, don't do that, or do this or do that.
Right.
It wasn't out of my love for Jesus or God. It was out of uh, being loyal to the teachings that they were teaching me. And and I lived a very sheltered life because of that. And then afterwards, I was so in love with Jesus. After that incident, I was so in love with Jesus that, man, and I, hung out with people my age, and I mentioned this many times. We'd go to service on Saturday, and I was always like the single people, and then after that we would go hang out at like at Bennigan's back then, remember Bennigan's, and
Yeah.
we closed down Bennigan's, and the whole time we would be talking about Jesus. Like we weren't talking about like a lot of secular stuff. It's like we were all so on fire for God, um, and then we would close the Bennigan's and we go and move to the parking lot. We'd still talk about Jesus, and then we look at our watches and go, oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We got to go because we all had jobs. And it was just so beautiful. It was such a beautiful relationship with Jesus, with God, and therefore a relationship with each other. Where when I was in the cult, I felt like, oh, you got to do the right thing, or somebody's going to report you. It was just so legalistic and walking on eggshells and things like that. Even though it was very utopian, because we were always like, oh, God loves you. Oh, but it was all fake. It was really all fake.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It was just doing the rules,
Yeah.
following the rules. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, great, great.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. Your footprint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whew,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mary, let me change it a little bit to you as a mom. You got two kids now
Mhm.
grown. One's moved away, and one's still nearby. But to take what Dan said and transition to your role as mom, which is your primary role in your life for the last 25, 30 years or so. So if you think about the Old Testament and New Testament, you could almost say in the Old Testament, we related to God like a little child where we had to learn all the rules in order so we could grow up without hurting ourselves or others. And then when Jesus comes, now it's as if we as humanity grew into a place where now we could become friends with our parent, right? So the relationship of me with my kids is evolving from I got to tell them what to do and what not to do so they don't hurt themselves or others until they get to the point where now I can free them up to say, now you make the decision, take all the stuff I've taught you and learn how to walk and to run and to make decisions and to be out in the world when I'm not there. And I wonder, Mary, if you see that parallel or how do you feel that parallel as a mom between your relationship with God as from a kid to a friend, and now your relationship with your kids from being your kid to being your friend. Does that resonate with you?
Um, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, it does. The only thing is like definitely don't consider myself as like as God or knowing everything or how to direct them. I've made so many mistakes with them, and I'm surprised that they still think that I'm like the coolest mom. Um, but I think that's what you were asking me. I'm not sure.
No, I'm just saying, do you feel the parallel between your relationship with God from doing all the rules that was in the cult, and now
Yeah,
you talked about being in love with Jesus, like you just can't stop talking about him,
yeah.
right? And then do you feel that same parallel with your children, where at first your children you treat them as a child because they need to be treated that way until they know the rules. Now they've grown into adults, so you don't have to tell them what to do anymore. In fact, you have to just trust them to do the right thing. And now you talk to them as friends. Do you see that parallel there?
Yeah, 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 I do. Yeah. They actually they turned out to be amazing kids, and, yeah, I remember when their dad was alive, and um, um, we used to say, "How do we get kids so amazing?" Because even us at their age, we were screwing up, we were doing crazy things, and our kids are not like that at all. They're very responsible young adults, and yeah, they take things very responsibly. So yeah. Mhm.
Well, they wouldn't have done that without good parents. So even in your messiness, I mean, that's true of all of us. Even in our messiness, we still do a few things that turn out pretty good. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Right.
Mhm.
Agreed. Yes. Don't hit me. Free will. Hey, that's a perfect transition with you singing
I
and
love
also
it.
talking about.
No, I agree. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys would bring me back, because I think there's so much in my life that I would love to,
Yeah.
yeah, share with you guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh.
I love
Yeah, so
Yeah, and so singing is a new thing for me. I just started like a year ago doing karaoke. I'm still haven't done it in front of people. Um, just behind the closed screen on X. Excuse me. And that comes from, when I've told you guys this story many times, but for the audience is when I was 16, I used to love, ever since I was in eighth grade, I used to love doing musicals. And then when I was a junior in high school, the college opened auditions for high schoolers to come and audition for West Side Story. I guess they didn't have enough people to audition. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm coming. So I went over there, and I remember all night long, I was like, I can't remember the song, but I remember like practicing over and over and over again. And even I remember my mom saying, "Oh, you sound really good." So I went to audition, probably picked the wrong song, I'm sure. And 5 seconds into my audition, the director goes, "Next." And it traumatized me, because I thought, oh my gosh, I must really not know how to sing. Have you ever watched American Idol, and they have those people that are horrible singers?
yep, yep, yep.
That's how I thought that was me.
Yeah.
And and I never ever ever sang again. Like I never, like maybe in
Yes.
the shower or whatever, I was so shy to sing ever again. Then I married this amazing musician who, ugh, he had an amazing voice, and then my son has an amazing voice. And so I was super intimidated to even sing in my own home. And then about a year ago, I started going to X and karaoke spaces, and these two gentlemen kept, they're kept encouraging me, come on, come on, we can tell you probably can sing, and or we can tell you can sing. And I'm like, no, no. And I got the courage, and it was pretty shaky at first. And then here I am a year later. I love it. It's a de-stressor for me. And yeah, and I'm surprised when people say, oh, you sound amazing, because it's so different than the next
Right.
that I
Oh,
got when I was 16. And yeah, so
well, before
yeah, sure. I love to sing the song to
but
close
before
it. And Mojo, I know you have
well, before Mary sings, I just want to, celebrate that journey. So, I have my own similar story.
Journey.
We'll get to that. Journey, right? Journey is one of your favorite
Yeah.
bands, and
Yes.
in fact,
Journey
Mary.
was my husband and I band. So every time I hear the word journey, it just It's like a sign that, yeah,
Yeah.
reminds me of him. Okay, anyway.
This is a whole nother rabbit trail we won't go down, but
Yes.
Mary is one step removed from Steve Perry, but that's another discussion. So anyway, yeah, right. So tune in Monday when we get more of Mary's story. But before Mary sings, I just want to say thank you to all the people who've tuned in either during the show or who watched this on the replay. I want to thank the PEAR community that have made this possible for us to do this show. I want to thank Dan for inviting me into the show and Mary for jumping in on her own and just doing what she does. She was capturing our thoughts and putting in the chat just as a listener, and obviously bubbled up as a star and a potential producer, which now she is. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for this show that we create on the fly every day, and we're learning and we're growing and we're making mistakes and then we're correcting them, which is the process of life. And I'm just grateful that Mary has music again in her life, because music makes such a big difference. Music makes us happy, heals our hearts. Music binds us together. There's so many great things about music. So I always talk too much, but I want Mary to sing. I want Mary to sing one song now, and then we'll have her sing again on Monday when we continue. Actually, Mary's singing also on Friday. She'll sing on Friday as we do our Vocalize vocal workshop experience, and you're all invited to participate in that as well.
Yeah, Friday. Come on. Yes. All right.
Take over.
Right. Okay, here we go.
Take over, Robert.
All right, guys. I'm gonna shut down my camera. Because I feel at home, like I'm on X behind the camera. So here we go. Okay.
And I want Mary's example here to be good for anybody else who feels like, oh, I could never do that. Just turn your camera off, and then you don't have to be self-conscious, and just sing away. Sing from your heart. Yep. Go.
Okay.
We're normalizing the vocalize.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear it. I mean, if you can see it. Can you see it? Okay. All right. Here we go.
Woo.
Can you hear it? Is that loud enough?
Careful.
Her hair is hollow gold, her lips sweet surprise, her hands are never cold, her body David's eyes. You won't have to think twice. She's pure as New York snow. She's got Betty David's eyes. All the better as she please you. It's proposal, and she knows just what it takes to make the proposal. She's got red goggles, stand up high. She's got Betty Davis eyes. We'll let you take her home and what's her appetite to let you on her throne. You got Betty Davis on your head, throw you like you were dying until you come up blue. You got Betty Davis eyes. And when she smashes you off your feet with the crumbs she throws you, she's proposal, and she knows just what it takes to make the problem. All the boys in the sky, she's got Betty Davis eyes. And she knows just what it takes to make the problem. is crazy. Hi, she's got Betty Page shining. He'll teach you. He'll unleash you. Lisa. Somebody Davidson. So it's supposed to. When she smells you, she knows you. He's somebody Davidson. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you having me here. Have a great day. Have a great day. Yay.
Round
you
of
guys.
applause.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
Andy-O. Andy-O. Squirrel. Squirrel.
We can do joy. We can do joy. Joy. Yeah.
Andy-O.
You're the. You guys are hilarious. Yeah.
We got the joy, baby.
Joy.
Where?
You guys are so awesome. You guys are awesome. What a great team.
Yes. Love it.
TikTok. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Bye. We're still recording. There. Yay.